Faith in the midst of a storm. How much faith should we have? Does one have? Can we have? You know, there is a scripture reading on the side of my desk that basically says we need to thank God for the trials that we have because it's building our endurance. Our endurance for what? Suffering? Sure. Because if you can suffer well, the graces that flow from there and your ticket into heaven is great. That's what they say. Well, how do you suffer well? You got to go through the storm. And when you're right in the middle of it, you can't see things as clearly as when you're out of it. And so I've been through very repetitive storms in my life. And the odds look greatly not in your favor. Well, they may not be in my favor. Realistically, I might not get what I'm pursuing. But God says there should be something good and great that you do get. Not a reward. Heaven's the reward. But ultimately, there is something at the end of the line. Because you don't suffer forever. The storm don't last forever. It can't. It's not the nature of life. But you got to suffer well. Some storms last a day, some a week, some a month, some a year, some multiple years, some a decade. I mean, go back into the history books there, the Bible specifically, and, you know, how long was Joseph in prison, in the Egyptian prison? How long was he from his brothers turning him over, turning into slavery to, you know, how long was all that? And it's just, I have to continuously remind myself of those things, that I'm not always in a storm. Like, there's a figment of my imagination that says you are always in a storm. But that's not true. That's not the case. Some days are very bright and shiny. Some days are gloomy. Some days are storming. Okay? But if you were to just kind of realize that not every day is a storm. And I really have to tell myself that, especially whenever it feels that way. And I know it feels that way. I know that somebody watching this feels that way right now, that just every day is just poop. But to flip the mindset, knowing that, hey, we get better through those adversity and storms. Where can I get better at? And so right now, there was a few things that I continue to learn, because I'm being forced to learn in the storms that I'm going through. I am being forced and pushed to the point of figuring stuff out. And I'm not cowering down. I'm not calling it a day. I am saying, nope, this path was not leading me where I felt God wanted me to be. And what else can I do, need I do? And what can I do today? And it's still tough to make those decisions, especially when you think that is maybe the right decision to make, the best decision to make, and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're having to learn how to breathe all over again. You're learning how to just go through that endurance, create endurance. You don't have to. It don't have to be physical endurance, even though I would say as an entrepreneur it is a physical endurance because we're working a lot. But what I've realized over the last few weeks is how much in the particular setting I'm not doing. Like, I'm doing a lot of work, and I would say that it would seem that it could potentially end up being fruitful, but I kind of reanalyze how and what I was doing to the degree that it's like, no, I think there's a better way to do it that'll provide more fruits. Still same job, same thing, but just applying myself in a different way. And so I've been trying that, and I've just noticed an uptick in engagements, in engagements with people because of the things that I've changed. Well, if it was all easy and things was coming, so awesomely, and I figured it out, that's great. I hope that's the case over the next few months, that the things that the switches that we made here recently, which was minor, but a big deal. When I say minor, it was a pivot of things we were already doing, but just like, no, you need to lean in harder into this stuff. I need to lean in harder on and more time. And so I have to give up some other things that maybe are taking my time up. And it's just a continuous battle of threading the needle. And so, long story short, I don't know. The reward I'm looking for is heaven. That's what we're all looking for. And the storm is the gateway to there. Well, how many of those can you go through to the point where you are now entering into the pearly gates of heaven to be with Jesus, where everything is not a storm, and that for the rest of eternity, which is infinite, you are there not having to worry about everything that you're worried about now. And I'm talking to you men, because I know that a good father, husband, worker worry about more than the wife and kids will ever know. And we can't wear our worry face when we get home. We can't always share with our spouses the things that we have to do to make ends meet. But we're hunters. We have to go hunt, and we have to go get it, and it's the toughest thing you'll ever do in your life. So hunt well, go through the storm well, builds up your endurance. And if I'm here talking to you, that means I survived today in my endurance journey. And next video will only prove that I had survived another day. God bless.